What's going on, everyone? It's Ryan from Hard Money Bankers, joined today with an awesome guest who I've known for 3 weeks now, and I feel like I don't know, we've known each other for years, right?
Yes, it happens quick.
So, everyone, please welcome Jay Levine. What's going on, Jay?
What is up, Ryan? Thank you for having me on your show, man. I love the intro. I love the graphics we have on the screen. I'm loving this. Thank you for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, StreamYard. Anybody who's listening does these. Definitely recommend StreamYard. It's pretty easy to set up. But yeah, so Jay, we got you on the show. We always have producers on the show. Um, a lot of times it's people who've been in the business for a long time. But every now and then we get somebody like yourself who just has a really good story that I like to give it out to our audience, because our audience it's all real estate investors or realtors, things like that, covering the gambit. We have experience versus people trying to get into it. And I love stories like yours for those people who are or maybe haven't gotten much done in years, or maybe just looking to get into the business. So without further ado, Jay, tell us who you are and what your story is.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. First off, I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the relationship. I appreciate you having me on here. It's always nice to connect outside of all the other things that we do together. It's always nice to connect on maybe a little bit deeper level. So thank you. And I've known you for 3 weeks, like you said. And so far, all I can say about you is a drive, determination. I mean, right before this call, we got to hear you with your family real quick on the phone. So just a super heart-centered dude, and I appreciate you having me here. So with that being said, we have been in sales our whole lives. Myself, my wife, who I obviously met later in life, but sales were a part of my growing up. My father owned a hardware store back in the early 90s, late 80s. At one point, I thought I was going to own a hardware store and, kind of carry out the family business. And one thing I can tell you, there's many different stories and many things I learned from my father and from that business, some all incredible lessons, some more powerful than others. But one of the most powerful was the importance of relationships and the importance of not only nurturing the relationships that you have, but also looking to gain new relationships, not just to benefit yourself, but to benefit your relationships. Like that is something that was taught to me very early in life, was that you can be a resource for people, not in just what you do. My father sold hardware, sold screws, nails, hammers, drywall, but was a shoulder to lean on, an ear for listening, someone that was a resource in way more than just the hardware field. So I've always looked at business in a way where it's not just about what I sell and what I do, but it's also about, who I can potentially connect you with. I love connecting people that should know each other or need to know each other. So real estate,
well, it's amazing to me that everything you just said, you didn't even touch upon a business yet. You didn't even touch upon yourself, that you just wanted to put the umbrella out there for everyone, how important relationships are for you. And this is not about real estate at this point. This is just you, setting up kind of yourself as to how you're able to do what you did in the last few years, which obviously I don't want to steal your thunder, but it's very impressive. And I just want to call that out. It's really awesome that you see somebody who's done what you've done, and the first thing they say is it's about people and taking care of people. I just want to call that out and say it's awesome for you to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been instilled in me. We're in a lot of different ecosystems together, or one in particular. And right now, a lot of the topic has been behavior and how your surroundings and what you've learned as a kid will, stay with you for a long time. And is that serving you? Is that destroying your dreams? And I can tell you that the relationships and really making sure that we get to know people, there's this saying of it's not who you know, it's what you know. And I think it's, it could be that, but I also think it's not who you know, it's how many people know you and what they think of you. And that may sound superficial, and I don't want it to sound superficial, but at the end of the day, what people perceive you as is what they see you as. Everyone has something that hit me really hard recently was that every single person you speak to has a different story of who you are in their mind. And that is just like mind blowing to me, that's a fact, that is definitely a fact. It's just crazy.
Literally everybody has a different version of you.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable. So, part of that is like, okay, so I have to be intentional with who I connect with, my language, what I'm doing, because things can be perceived in many different ways. So to fast forward a little bit through time, my wife and I, we owned a Verizon wireless store for almost 10 years. In 2016, I was $250,000 in debt at my Verizon store. We had a great run at the Verizon store, different story for a different day of things that happened there. I don't regret any of it because I built a ton of incredible relationships over that 10-year span. And there's nothing about that business that was a loss, even though financially you could say when I left that business, I did not leave that business in the green by any means, or in the black by any means. We were in the red. And in 2016, made a decision that I wasn't going to be at the mercy of this Verizon store anymore, this retail business. I was being told what to do by corporate constantly. And, for a year, they actually shut down, if you know this area in Bergen County, Kinder Kamak is where we were in Emerson, and they actually shut down the road from light to light where we were for a year. And it crushed us. And if it wasn't for the fact that we had such a loyal following of family members, of partners, of ecosystem partners, of clients, that kept us going, but really just kept us afloat. In 2016, I decided to get my real estate license. And since then, in 2018, we actually sold our business, our Verizon store, and went full-time into real estate. And in 2019, 194 Real Estate Group was born. Right before this whole global pandemic thing they were talking about. Literally September 11th of 2018, we sold and closed the door at the store for the last time at Wireless World. And 1 year later, we opened the doors of 194 Real Estate Group, literally to the date. September 11th, 2019 was when we started 194 Real Estate Group. And we haven't looked back, man. We've gone from startup to 19 agents, and we're pacing over $40 million in business. And honestly, my goal is by the end of this quarter to be pacing over 50.
Okay.
So,
that is a lot. And it's all really awesome stuff. I mean, for just to highlight the pacing in 2 years to 41 million, 19 team members in 2 years, that's, I mean, the thing with real estate, and we always teach it is, it's delayed gratification. You're in this for the long haul. What you do today is going to be business in 5 years from now, especially if you're a realtor. It is a long turnaround. However, if you're doing on track for 41 million, you're doing something more than just, doing these long deals, basically. So, I mean, you obviously took your learnings from another business, which had nothing to do with real estate. There's, I mean, 10 years, even if you ended up in the red, that's just phenomenal that you're able to operate a business for 10 years. So, I mean, if anybody's ever done that, it's probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest things to do out there is running your own business. And you're doing it again in real estate. I do think there's a little bit difference when you're selling product and services versus having team members that are mostly commission based, right? So it's a little bit of a difference. So you're probably, hopefully, I mean, I don't know your story, but hopefully not as red as you were.
No red. In fact, if I can share real quickly, when we in 2016, and when we were that far in debt, we were 6 months behind rent. There was never a moment where I didn't think we would find the other side of this, but there definitely was a lot of moment of doubt and fear, and what am I going to do next, and how's this going to work? And I will say that we were able to sell that store in 2018. We were realtors at the time, but we were working for another company. We built up our confidence in the business and what we were doing, and we decided to go out on our own. And I'll tell you the biggest difference, Ryan. Yes, it was a different product. It was a service. The employees were commission based at the Verizon store, but I'll be honest, I was hiring, high schoolers and young college kids that needed a job after school rather than a career for someone like in real estate, which could be, a very fulfilling career. Obviously, biggest difference is me. I was afraid then, because I'm a pleaser, and I'm still a pleaser. And I have conversations about this to this day with my coach, that instead of confronting, and not talking about confronting, like talking about it as in, like you could confront the ocean. You're not mad at the ocean. You're not angry at the ocean, but when you confront it, you're going head on without avoidance. And I avoided a lot of conversations with my team because of fear of hurting feelings, fear of maybe losing them and having to retrain someone. And what happened was it affected our business because I was showing, honestly, weak leadership skills, great sales skills, weak leadership skills. And it wasn't because I didn't know how to lead. It was because I was leading from a place where I was protecting someone. And my version of safety at that point was destroying their dreams and mine. And that won't happen in this real estate business for a multitude of reasons, especially because of what I have committed to myself is that we have an incredible team here, and everyone knows that they're aligned. They know what they're accountable for. We keep each other accountable. And when there's something that needs to be spoken about, we talk about it. We don't let it fester. We don't let it go. If there is something we need to confront, we confront it. And we make that an open policy in this company. And that is a huge reason why we had one of the huge reasons why we have the trajectory we had is from that new style of leadership and continued growth. And so thank you for mentioning that, Ryan. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all really good stuff. I mean, you basically just said, like, yes, Ryan, it's a different industry, true, different product, but that's not why I didn't make it before, or why you could say failed, but it's not. You didn't fail. The amount of stuff you've taken away from it, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have what you have today, right? That kind of thing.
Agreed.
So, but can you dive into that? Like, what's the difference between if I'm hearing it correctly, almost like a fear-based leadership, like a scarcity and a protection. How did you translate saying, I'm not doing that again? I'm going, positive abundance mindset, if I'm kind of hearing that correctly. But what does that mean? Like, how does that come out from you to your teammates?
Yeah. So awesome question. So when I had the Verizon wireless store, I was the main, what I did, no one was able to duplicate. And it wasn't because they couldn't, it was because I wasn't able to have language around how to train and teach someone to actually be to act that way and to sell that way. So what I was doing was, instead of, I wasn't letting go of the reins at all. I was micromanaging, and there is a certain part of micromanaging that is okay, that you do have to do, because you need to set up how you want things done and then just make sure that it's going that way. But I could never let go. And maybe it was fear-based, maybe it was a scarcity mindset, maybe it was all of the above. The shift really happened not even so much when I switched into real estate, because when I switched into real estate, I was working on my own. I didn't have a team. It was just myself. My wife joined me a few months later in real estate. That's how Team Levine. I was actually Team Levine before there was anyone else but me in doing real estate for a company called Venture. So at that time, I actually was excited about not having to lead anyone, I thought, because I was like, okay, I don't have corporate busted my chops. I don't have all this stuff going on. Like, I can just do my thing and rock and roll and go. And I did. And I put my head down and I went for a good year and a half. It started to, now what happened is, as that's happening, I am attracting people to my circle with curiosity of what Jay's doing. Why is Jay accelerating so quickly? And very, very honestly, my acceleration personally was because I dove deep into my relationships that I worked very hard over the last 10 to 15 years cultivating. Very honestly, I have a humongous book from my Verizon business, I volunteer a lot of time in town. So all the things that I'm involved with allow me to have access to a lot of different ecosystems. And I aim to add value. So what we now do with our team is we look for ideal ecosystems to connect with. Like, Ryan is a private hard money lender. Like, you are an ideal avatar for someone like myself to connect with further, not to refer business back and forth to, but to actually see how we can add value to each other and put each other in front of each other's ecosystems like we're doing today. So it's based on relationships. It's based on being capable to really look within yourself in an emotional intelligence kind of a way, for me especially, to let go of some of those fears of, having to control everything and allow people to grow and flourish. And I think and at the same time, have the energy to keep them accountable to it, and in love, because we all have to have boundaries. I had no boundaries at the Verizon store. I loved everybody with no boundaries, and that got me and my business hurt. And in the long run, them hurt, because they weren't performing how they really should have been. So my boundaries have become stronger. And again, this is all in love. My ability to carefront with people, my ability to lead, teach, and train what I actually do, and how to implement that into any business, anything you do. I don't train real estate. I train communication. I train relationships. We do obviously talk about a lot of real estate, mostly real estate, but at the core of it, you could take out anything we train at our company, and apply it to everything you do. And our agents do that. And that's why I think they feel the way they do about us, is not just because of acceleration that they've had, which is incredible. We just had a realtor get her bronze. She's been in the business 2.5 years. not 3 yet. She just won her bronze award. Karam, way to go, Karam. And she was nominated for Rising Star Award because of how quickly she got to this level. So, and she was not a realtor before. She was new to everything. She came here like an open book and really, really took to the training, and she's killing it. And so are 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 of the other agents I've mentioned, all starting into 2021 into 2022, are finding such a momentum, and it's inspiring. And I'm excited and happy to share it.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear the pride that's coming out from you because, I mean, you kind of, if I'm hearing your Verizon story, it was about me, it was about Jay and what my skill sets are, and now you've kind of opened it up, being like, I just want to enable my team to be the best that they can, right? And you're like, this has nothing to do with real estate, believe it or not. You can put any product in front of you and your team, and you're going to get the same results, which is super interesting because, we have, like I said, we have a range of people on this show. We just had Robert Northfield on, who's very established in North Jersey. And, but he's further in his career, he's been doing this for 20 plus years. So I think it's great hearing from somebody from your perspective, because I think you're going to be at the Robert Northfield, if not further level, when you get older, or not older, when you get further along.
I'll be 40. I'll be 40, Ryan. I'm old. Look, I have a bunch of hair under here. I promise. A bunch of hair under there.
Sorry, I did not mean to say. I meant as you go along. So what the reason I'm calling that out is because for anybody who's watching this, I hope you're getting inspired from Jay right now, right? Like he's saying, don't worry about the product. Work on yourself. Work on your communications. Join a team that wants to go, right? And I think I mean, I've seen a lot of people not make it in real estate, right? I mean, it can be a tough industry at times to really get the ball rolling. So to see the amount of momentum you have so quickly, like if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna say you're gonna do really, really well here, because you just don't see that often. You really don't. And just the fact that you're all about the team, right, and how everyone's performing, and how was it Carrie? You said that Karam, like, I don't know. If I was gonna go be a realtor, I would join your team, right?
There's always a chance, Ryan. I don't know. There's always a chance.
Well, I hope I don't have to, because then that means something else has happened in my line of work. But if I ever have to, Jay, I'd love to be part of your team. So if anybody is watching, whether you're experienced or not, you just want to talk to Jay, because Jay is somebody who's, you're not going to call him and he's going to try to sell you a deal. He's just going to say, hey, what's up? How can I help you? How can we work together? Or what do you need? Like, he's one of those type of people. They're always just, you're awesome to have in your corner, right? It's just always serving, right?
Can I tell you one quick story, just to give you kind of an example of, and again, we've been in real estate now for 5 years, owning our own company in the real estate field for 3 years, managing we managed the venture company for a year before we started this company. But the one thing I can say that has been the biggest distinction for me has been when I was at the Verizon store, corporate always treated us like we were just, working for them. Like we were numbers. Exactly. Yeah. And here, the biggest thing that I want my agents to always know is that they're not a number. They're people. Like, I don't even like calling them agents a lot of the time. Like I a lot of times I'm referring to them as my partner. Like when I'm talking to another client, they're my partner. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, this is my part, because we're partners. Like we're doing this together. So I always introduce them as my partner. But one thing we changed just recently is we do generate a lot of leads for Team Levine here, from our reach, from who we talk to, from all the things that we do in the community. And it doesn't make me it makes me more money, but it doesn't, as a business operator, that's great. But I want to be transitioned into business ownership. Mm-hmm. And as a business owner, the more deals that I or my wife do, the more money I get in my pocket, but the time freedom goes away. And I don't have that opportunity. I could, I hear a lot of teams out there do it in a way where, people have I guess basically people helping them, and they're not actually getting MLS credit, but they're getting dollars and cents, which is great, because at the end of the day, we want to make money. But what I really feel is vital is, like, when I split a deal with one of our agents, like, we actually split it. Like, they actually get their name on the MLS. Like, because so at the end of the year, Jay Levine could be platinum, right? who cares? Who cares that I'm platinum? No one cares that I'm platinum. Would you care if you were an agent coming onto my team? Wouldn't you care more that I have 15 bronze, silver, and gold agents? Yeah, and I got bronze too because I still do work. But like, or would you be like, wow, Jay's incredible. He's platinum this year. Who cares? Who cares you're platinum? Big deal. Big deal.
Right? Listen, I am totally with you on that. And I think
no offense to the platinum people. I apologize.
No, I don't think it is offensive to them. I think in real estate there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? Like, what good does it do to somebody on your team if you're platinum, right? Like, it doesn't like just unless somebody wants to be like, yeah, I'm part of the team that got platinum. Okay, great, but is that helping you as a person, right? And that's why I really appreciate what you just said, because you just said like, man, who cares about all the flashy stuff? Like, is your team helping you grow, and is your team putting real money in your pocket, right? Like,
does your team see their future in you?
Yeah.
Or does your team or not? And that's the case. And it is, listen, it is about being on a winning team, because there is something to be said about the social proofing of being on a winning team. So I don't want to downplay that being on a winning team is important. Like being on the 96 Bulls is it doesn't matter who you were. When you say that, it's like, wow, that's winning. But at the same time, you know, I want a team to grow with, because I want them to create platinum agents. I don't want to be one. I want to create them. Yeah. So that's my final Ryan at Hard Money Bankers.
I love it. I don't want to be platinum. I want to create platinum. Love it, man. All right, Jay, we're already over time. I appreciate your story. I love your energy. I can keep talking to you forever. You're one of those people that just like, keep going, man. I'm too invested in the story, but we'll have to have you back on the show, see how things are going. We usually do like follow-ups every year. So we're gonna put you on the spot here, man. We want to see you hit these numbers, and we want to see you crush them, and hear from your team in a year from now. All right.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate this very, very much. And Ryan, I know we'll be seeing each other quite often, so I'll see you later.
Absolutely, Jay. All righty, man. Take care.
All right, take it easy, everybody.